Hello, welcome to Sorrow Isle. This is our swamp mega build from our Wildlands Kickstarter. This massive 4 foot by 4 foot build has all the swamp pieces you'd need to make all sorts of bogs and wetlands and rivers and islands and the like. It's got trees, it's got swamp banks, even has a bayou barge and some cool LED MacGuffins, as well as a few surprises. Let's take a closer look. So we're going to enter this massive swamp all the way in this corner here. I can't even reach across this thing, it's so big, 4 feet. So we have a huge variety of swamp banks, right? We have every one of the swamp banks pieces making up the perimeter and these central islands. So starting off here, we have one of the coolest looking ones. This is a swell bank. So we have a right and a left swell, and this one has a baked in stump, large stump base. And we have a cool gnarled tree on there. Looks right at home in the swamp. Next up we have this concave bank piece, which this has 2 different stumps, large and small, and has this cool projecting branch. Feels very watery. And you can pop any of your peg-based trees if you want. You know, you can pop your gnarled tree in there. This creepy stump topper looks like maybe it's reaching for you. The rotten hole. Little stump topper. I'm gonna just deforest this thing as we go. The lily pad cluster for a splash of color and perhaps an otherwise drab swamp. And this whole thing is built on 4 2 foot by 2 foot water texture mats. So you can rebuild this into a whole bunch of different configurations. So it's an enormous amount of coverage. At the end of the tip of this little island here, this thing is built out of these are the forest bank transition wedges, right? So it starts from bank side, so it fits the bank, and then it transitions down to either this can terminate to stop the bank run, or you can use 2 of them together to make a straight, or you can use this to transition to a trifecta, one of our trifecta ledge pieces, or in this case, we're putting 2 of them together, the right and left, to create a little sharp sort of island tip. So very versatile, useful little pieces. And then moving along, we have a nice, straight, super flat landing bank. I call this one a landing bank because it's flat like landing. And if you have your docks from Caverns Deep, you can put the docks right on there. It makes a really cool landing for dock, or you could dock your boat there. Ooh, and speaking of the boat, we're going to check that out in a moment. And then working our way back around, we have this beautiful floating log here. This guy, maybe this was the tree that was here and it collapsed down. Now it's floating in the water. There's some room to put your minis on the top, playable space. All right, then we're moving our back way. Let's take a look at this boat. This is the Bayou Barge. So this is modular, so you can take it apart. You can remove the center section if you want, make your boat shorter. All the pieces are interchangeable with the boat, our rowboat that we did in Caverns Deep. You can also break it apart if it gets maybe destroyed in combat or something. These are all full accessory holes on the sides, so you can change out your oars for a harpoon gun or a flag or whatever you'd like. On the front here, the prow, we have this cool alligator skull pole accessory. All right, so you can put any pole accessory you want. On the front here, you can put an arbalist, you can put the dragon head from the rowboat, put a flag, whatever you like. And then, so the front here, this masthead is a glowing green balefire lantern. Cool, magical light. You can put any of our LED socket pieces on there. Your little light in the dreary swamp. And then on the back of this thing, the aft here, we have more pole accessories, so you can pop out the tiller if you want. And we've got 2 slots here, so we have these 2 harpoon guns. I only have 1 right here, but there will be 2 of this thing. It's a cool harpoon launcher for go catch some bog beasts. So we have this cool little hidden compartment. You can put some treasure in there, or a hostage, or a body, or a magic item, or a map, or whatever you want. Hide it out in there. to buy a barge. So ostensibly, this is going to be the way your players are probably cruising around this build. So this whole thing is designed to have a lot of empty negative space so you can have them sail the boat around and or maybe be chased by some sort of terrible swamp beast as they work their way through this thing, trying on their objective. Next to the boat here, we have our small swamp stump lump. So this is modular tree stump, small tree stump, cool and swampy, flat back so you can put it up against any of your other flat back pieces. And then this is one of our neatest, it's projecting roots. So you can pop this into your stump lump or any of our stump holes, and it creates these cool roots that are going down into the water, and then you can top it with any of your tree bits. In this case, it is the dead snag stump topper, but you could put a small dead tree on there, cypress tree, any of our small pig-based trees. So these projecting roots really help give anything a really swampy feel. And then this small swamp stump lump is nestled up against this cool crescent rock. We nicknamed this thing the banana boat because it is shaped like a banana. Go figure. And it's a neat spot up here. There's a little spot to put a MacGuffin, or maybe the bad guy wants to do some monologuing there or whatnot. Just kind of a neat outcropping. You could suspend it off some escarpments for some suspended danger. And over here on this side, there will be a pair of paired peg holes so you can attach any of our bridges or a suspension bridge or the like. Pretty neat little rock formation. Also, that flat side is where you can nestle up any of your other flat pieces and sort of connect them together into one continuous rock formation. This thing is flanked by a tiny hummock and a mossy rock mound. On there, you can use them to hold up any of your little small pole accessory pieces. Let's see, move it up some more banks. We have a small concave swamp bank here for doing tight little turns. And this is a nice, once again, nice little flat area. You can put a little gangplank on there for a dock or something. And then working our way out in this little peninsula, we have, let's look under it first. We have this end cap piece here. So the idea is the back side is, it's two banks back to back. So in this case, we have two banks slide up against it, and it's a terminator for double banks. You can use it for a peninsula. You can use it to make a little island. So if you did something like this, you can put two of them together to make an island. And it's particularly flat there, so it's really good for putting some sort of focal point. Or in this case, the black rot tree. Look at this terrible thing. This is definitely from the Shadowfell. It's like infected with some sort of terrible thing, or maybe that is this thing. I don't know. We're gonna have to get some stats together for this thing. Right, it's those dark red crevices and reachy branches. It is up to no good. That's all I know. All right, now moving along. Ooh, we have short bank, short straight bank. And then feeds into a base diagonal bank. So this thing covers the same area as the concave, but it does it diagonally. It's really good if you have a couple of them if you want to make a kind of a diagonal river or run. And this one has a teardrop insert hole. So in this case, we have the beautiful swamp pool teardrop insert, which fits inside there we had, or you can put it on top, or you can just freestand this thing out as a piece of scatter. Let's put it on top for fun. All right, so let's sail on back to these ruins over here. Oh, and I forgot to mention this, there's gonna be a little mast hole in here, so one day we may make a mast for these modular boats. Let us know if you think that's a good idea. So, over on this little back island, we have this cool ruins cluster. So first let's look at the banks. We have a new one. We have the convex corner, full-size one, and this has a baked-in stump lump. So there's another small stump lump, so you can put in any of your small peg-based trees. We also have the little tiny convex. This is a really useful piece. Use it all the time. You can use it for little islands, you use little corners. You make 4 of them together to make a little hummock. Little handy piece. There's 5 of them just on this island here. And we have another one of those projecting roots and a small dead tree in the back here. That looks super swampy. Let's get this out of the way. All right, so these are a couple of ruins pieces. So these are Archaean arches. These are ancient Eladrin ruins, or you can make them whatever you want. But in this story, they were built by elves. Beautiful ancient golds and silvers and whites that have been overgrown by vines and weathered by the elements. So there's 2 of these complete curves. So if you had 4 of them, you can make a nice, perfect circle. And then this awesome ruined one here. And then this ruined one, this has a flat back and a fallen arch in the front. This is the collapsed arch piece. Together they make a very nice collapsed, whatever it is, gazebo, amphitheater, circular. I don't know, what kind of circular buildings do elves make? I don't know. And in the center of it, we have a magnetic rock. And this holds any of our magnetic accessories. It's a cool little boulder, right? Good cover for your minis, or maybe partial cover if they're really big. And then it's got a magnet in there, so you can take any of our magnetic accessories. And this is the seal of binding. This was created by the Eladrin to seal in some sort of ancient evil, or perhaps hold the planes together, or I don't know, whatever cool magical MacGuffin you need. And it looks cool either which way. All right, and then under these ruins, and here we have a couple of these 3x3 swamp floors. These work really well with your forest floors also. And all the swamp banks work great with your forest floors as well. But this thing, very useful for little islands, little bank areas. Everything has a nice wet puddle in there. And then I think this is the last of our basic banks pieces. We have the other swell. So we looked at the left swell. This is the right swell. And this one has a big flat area. Once again, you could use to put a dock out there, or put a little house or stump lump for some more trees. All right, now let's sail on back over to the other side here. All right, we're gonna sail over to the other side of this massive build and see what awaits us. Just to prove that it's dark, we have another black rot tree at the beginning, just looming over us. Maybe you'll come along for a ride here. Yeah. So, a bunch more banks over there. Then over here, against this small stump lump, we have this hidden burrow lump. So this thing looks like a nice big hunk of stone. It's got a flat side, so you can put it flat against any of your other flat rock bits, but it's also cut out here. So, and there's a little fox hidden inside, so it can make a burrow. And it works really nicely on top of one of our teardrop inserts. Right, so you can put it like there and do like a cool little burrow hole down into the ground. Maybe that gets you into a little dungeon or a cave or who knows what. All right, so then we have this beginning of this central aisle. So this thing is a big kind of crescent-shaped central aisle, all sorts of fun bank bits. And over here is a collection of sorrow nests. So this is a psionic succulent from the Shadowfell. And it attacks you psionically. It lures you in and put your head inside there. It closes around you, and then it puts you in a perpetual state of nightmare, and it feeds upon your terror until eventually your body dies, and then it swallows your soul. So, nice little plant. We got a couple of those. We'll get you some stats for that at some point. And moving our way around, we got some more lily pads. Oh, I don't think we saw this yet. So this is, remember the small projecting roots? This is the large version. It's got those cool purple mushrooms on it. And it fits on our large stump lumps, gives those projecting roots down, and then you can put any of your large peg-based trees on there, such as the gnarled tree. Definitely gives very swampy vibes. And then lurking behind it here, what is this? This is a slink root. This is another terrible swamp plant. So this may look like a tree, and maybe it is a tree. Maybe it's just a creepy dead tree. Or maybe it's a snake root. Maybe it's a moving tree that can chase after you and has adhesive branches. Cool, creepy. Got a lot of motion. Look at those little legs. It just feels like it could move at any moment. All right, so then moving our way past this island, so we have, oh, here's another good one. We didn't see this guy yet. We have this is a stepped rock. So what's interesting about this thing, besides it's a nice way to transition up, it's gonna have, we're resculpting it to have a little bit of a lip here, a little beak. So this will be a nice space for like a 32 millimeter base, but there's a couple of steps for your minis to work on. This has a 90-degree turn here, so you can use it. In this case here, we're using it in between the banks to be a corner. It also fits nice flat, like up against your hidden burrow lump. And then, nestled up against it, we have a large swamp stump lump. So this is the large version. It's got the large stump, feels very watery, a couple of playable squares, flat back, so you can nestle two of these guys together, double stump lump action. Whew. All right, so we're moving back off the main island, back here. We have another little mossy rock mound, another crescent banana boat. Oh, so back of this we have the rocky outcrop. So this neat little thing, so it'll have a magnet and a pair of paired pegs here, so you can attach it, anything that has paired peg holes here, you can use the pegs, connect this thing, and then you can cantilever it out. You can have it actually hang out and be a really suspended spot of danger. We like lots of suspended danger in the Wildlands here. You can also flip it around and use it as a terminator piece on any of our other flat rock bits, or you can hold it up like that. And in this case, over here, we're using it to make a nice little platform to put this. Then if we work our way up, do another stepped rock, and then over here, so we have two awesome things. So this is the base of Titan's Tooth. Huge, beefy piece, 50 millimeters high, lots of playable space up there. It's awesome projecting root. It's got, over here, it's gonna have paired peg holes, so the same thing you could do, you could attach this with the pegs, you could do a little thing like that to give a suspended lip hanging off, or attach a bridge to it. And it just makes a great platform for any sort of cool focal piece, such as this quildren tree here. Look at this amazing spiraling. It's the Fey Helix tree, the quildren. This whole thing is this is like our Fey corner back here. And then, speaking of Fey stuff, we're gonna work our way over here. We have a weeping willow. It's a large stump base tree. Sitting there quietly, very swamp-like. Bunch more banks. This is on top of the large projecting roots, we have a large dead tree. We haven't seen this guy yet. It's a big knot hole in it. Maybe there's some critter lives in there. Beautiful purple fungus. Nice big 360 dead tree. Look at that thing. And then in the center of this little island, we have a Glamour Leaf. Another amazing Fey plant. These beautiful, vibrant colors. It's got fiber optics in there, so it's color changing the center area. Was it like the pistil or the stamen or the, I don't know. Cool little glowy areas in the center of this thing. And this is a highly magical Fey plant, and it ensorcels anybody that comes by. It mesmerizes them with its beauty, and they will stand there transfixed until eventually they starve. Why it does that, I don't know, but we'll get you some stats. Look at that beautiful thing, inspired by orchids. And then finally, we will work our way. We have another floating log, another big dead tree. And then over here we have, this is a planar pylon. This is a really cool magical MacGuffin piece. In the center of this thing is charged wyver stone, cool iridescence to it. And the best bit is it comes with a remote, so you can change the colors, and it even has some patterns. So you can do, there's all sorts of storytelling possibilities with this thing. So, and then this, we were going to reveal later, this will be replaced with something else. This is not the piece that's here. There'll be something here that to look forward to, and perhaps a few other reveals sprinkled around in this massive swamp. And that was Sorrow Isle, our swamp mega build from our Wildlands Kickstarter, which is live now until September 2nd. You can find the information in the description below. Be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any of our Wildlands updates or cool content. And with that, I'm gonna get lost in the wild.